Kerstin, you're head of SPIDER, Swedish
Yes.
program for ICT in developing
Yes.
regions. And, to develop countries, education is a key. And there's not so many people in the world on a global scale that has higher education. And the demand is very high. And evidence for having acquired higher education is a diploma. But what do you think about all these diplomas? Are they all valid? Have you any experience of how sure you can be when you have people applying for a work?
Yes, I actually do. Before I came to SPIDER, I was working in a Swedish private business for many years in Africa and in other parts of the world. And I would say that the existence of non-valid certificates is a very, very big problem in many areas. And it costs most companies a lot of money for hiring people who are not skilled enough.
And what happens with the people who are hired and not skilled enough? Will they continue work or?
Of course, I mean, sometimes you realize it already under the first period that these people, they are not able to perform what they're supposed to perform. They don't work in the way that you expect them to work. Then, of course, either you get another job that is of another kind, or you actually lose your position because you have been failing to produce a valid certificate.
Yeah.
And what happens is, of course, that the company loses a lot of time and money. And you as an individual, you get up in a very bad position after such an adventure, I would say.
How many of these diplomas are really fake, and how many are, result of, bad education, or not really fake, but maybe they passed through and got the certificate from a university, but really didn't deliver?
I think it's very hard to say. I don't know if we can find real numbers on that, but of course you have everything in the whole scale of fake certificates and people who actually have bad education of different types. I mean, you will find all of them. Of course, the worst thing is when you do have faked certificates, which actually is very, very common in certain areas of the world, where you can buy certificates of all kinds on the street. And if you are, as a human resource person, is not aware of that, which is something that I have experienced myself, and you believe that you actually do have a lot of skilled people to choose from, and you don't, because these certificates are all fake. And you actually, after some time, show that some of the people you employed are primarily not even able to read correctly in English. Then you will end up in a bad situation, of course, as a company.
What is the responsibility on part of the individual, and what is the responsibility for the university to really deliver quality education and certify it with correct diplomas?
I think the university, if we start there, of course has a very strong role in this. They need to see to that their students, they do know what they're supposed to know and also have proper certification. For the individual, that is even more crucial, because when you get out in the world, so to say, you really need to prove that you are able to do what you're supposed to do, and also to learn more and use the skills of analyze and scrutinizing information and so on that you actually learned during your university time. And if if it doesn't happen, then you are closed out from any type of getting a better position, more salary, or whatever.
Exactly. So once you get to know people and they are not fulfilling what they are saying they are qualified to, then you lose reputation and trust, and you can't pursue your career. But I guess it's the same for a university who delivers low quality education, that they will not be trusted to be hired people from that place. So also trust and reputation is important for the university when they are examining their students.
Definitely. I think when you talk about trust and loyalty towards where you come from, it's an important part of certification. And the trust is very important when you get into a business situation, because today you work very much in networks and different matrix organizations, and if you can't trust the people you're working with because they have been faking some way, then you are in really deep trouble, I would say. So I think trust is an extremely important part of this. But I also want to emphasize there is a financial portion here that is important. I mean, a university, if you have a good reputation, of course you can gather different types of skilled personnel and so on. And in a situation where you are lack of reputation and lack of trust, that puts a university today in a very bad situation.